Hey, what's up people, how are you? My name is Micaerys and welcome back to a new video. And technically it's the first English video this year, 2020, so yeah, welcome! Today I want to talk to you about a book that I finished reading recently. It's a book that my brother gave to me on Christmas, so it's a book that I especially appreciate. And it's called The Language of Thorns of late Bardugo. Late? Light? Well, this woman. Okay. The Language of Thorns is a compilation of different tales, different folklore stories in the fictional world of late Bardugo, the Grishapers. That is the name that is commonly given to that world about, well, from the fans, I mean. This world is, well, I already talked about it in a different video that I will put here, but it has many kingdoms, most of them based in some real country. One of them is based on Denmark, another one is like Ireland, but more in the north. The principal kingdom, Ravka, is based on Russia, and it has two kingdoms, Shuhan in the south, that is like China or Japan, something like that, and Fierta in the north, that is like an equivalent of Scandinavia and Germany. And well, every kingdom has its own story, its own folklore, its own mythology, and in this book you have many of them. And I think that is a very interesting thing, because it's like every story has its own stories. Every fictional world has its own fiction, its own mythology, its own folklore, and many times the characters make reference to that world. I mean, for example, a character of this world, Nikolai Lantsov, that is one of my favorite characters of Late Bardugo, it said that he likes foxes, you know, the animal, fox, and that he's often compared to one of them. And in this book there is a story about two clever fox that makes you think about that character and about that, well, about that story of the fox that was too clever for its own good. One good thing about this story is that it has an art that is very interesting, in the sense that it starts like something little, but it's like it's growing like the story, and when you finish it you find a complete art that is, wait, that is here. Okay, I won't show you a lot of it because I don't want to make any spoiler, although it's not technically a spoiler, it's just stories of Ravka and Fierda and different places. But an interesting thing about these stories is that not all of them are completely fiction, in the sense that, well, inside the Grishaverse there are some magic, some mystical arts, you can say, that, well, makes the world a little fantastic. But every one of them, every single one of them is like, okay, this works like this because it has an explanation. Like, for example, I can control the wind because I can change the temperature and the pressure of the air. So it's like, wow, air magic, but not really, it has an explanation, kind of. But in this book there are some stories that has little things about those explanations that makes you think, okay, maybe this is a fictional story, but it has some real base. For example, one of the stories talks about a tide maker, that is a type of Grisha, that is the term to talk about wizards, that, well, is the protagonist of one of the tales, and is like, okay, so it's not everything like fiction about magical beings that make miracles. It's also like, okay, a real guy that do real things, everything under the logic of this universe. And the last of the tales, I won't tell you anything about this because I don't want to make spoilers, as I said. It actually has a couple of characters that are really in the main universe. It's like there are some characters that they are very with a very long life, so they can be in many periods of history. So this is like, a long time ago there was a girl that blah 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 blah, and in that time, a long time ago, those characters were already alive, and you're like, wait, is that? I think that's the guy who I know. And well, it's very crazy when you realized. Also, all these tales are obviously written by late Bardugo, but many of them had some base on real tales. For example, there are some bases of Hans Christian Andersen. There is also, well, there is one tale that reminds to The Beauty and the Beast, and other one about Hansel and Gretel, but every one of them has its own version, its own evolution, and not all of them finish like, okay, so at the end the main protagonist ends happy, married, with a lot of kids, and the tales work with that and change the ending. Like, most of the stories had a very clear path, but they finish in an unexpected but good way, and they actually teach you a lesson. All of these tales are meant to be like tales that a kid in this universe will listen, and that kid will probably learn a lesson about them. So I think that that's the fantastic thing about this book, the fact that it's a book of tales that actually work like tales. Like you could tell these tales to your kids, and they will enjoy it, and they will learn about them. So yeah, I think that that's very nice. Well, I don't really have anything else to say about this except for, well, if you want to try it, to learn about Late Bardugo, even before you start with the big books about Late Bardugo, you probably should try The Language of Thorns, because it's very easy to read, it's very good, it introduces you to the Grishaverse, but without making it very overwhelming. So yeah, I think that you probably will like it if you try. I will give it a 10 of 10 because it's, yeah, it works like it has to work, so it's perfect. And yeah, that's it. And I don't want to make any cut in this video, so I think that if I successfully finish it without screw it, I'm definitely improving my level with the English being recorded while I'm speaking, so yay for me. Okay, I hope you liked the video, I hope you give it a thumb up, and well, you can comment down below, you can share it, you can subscribe if you're not, and we will see each other in the next video. Bye!